Prince William's private words to Kate. The palace never approved. The world knows William and Kate as perfected calm. Every word polished. Every moment approved. But one private sentence was never meant to leave the room. And it didn't break protocol. It broke the silence between them. The story begins far from cameras. Not at a balcony. Not during a tour. Not under royal lighting. It begins in a quiet moment when Prince William was no longer speaking as an heir, a symbol, or a future king, but as a husband who had reached the limit of restraint. For years, the palace carefully shaped how William and Kate appeared to the world. Steady, united, unshakable, a modern royal couple built on stability after generations of chaos. Their public words were chosen, their gestures rehearsed, their emotions controlled. But behind closed doors, life does not move at palace pace. Those close to the couple say the pressure had been building slowly, invisibly. Not from scandal, not from conflict, from responsibility. William carries the weight of a monarchy learning to survive a changing world. Kate carries the quiet burden of being the emotional anchor for an institution that rarely acknowledges emotional cost. Together, they have learned to function in silence. Until one night, silence failed them. The palace would later describe that period as routine. Engagements, briefings, family logistics. But what the palace didn't approve was the conversation that happened when everything official was finally out of the way. No aides, no schedule, no script. William spoke first, and the words he chose were not royal. He didn't speak about duty. He didn't speak about optics. He didn't speak about legacy. He spoke about fear, not fear of public opinion. Fear of loss. Fear of becoming emotionally absent while standing physically present. Those who know the couple say William admitted something he had never allowed himself to say out loud. That the role he was preparing for terrified him not because of power, but because of what it might cost his family. Kate listened, as she always does, calm, grounded, steady. But this time, William didn't stop. He spoke about watching his father, about watching his grandmother, about the way duty slowly replaces vulnerability if you let it. He spoke about the moments he has missed, the things he notices too late, the pressure to always be composed while privately unraveling. And then he said the words the palace would never approve. He told Kate that without her, he wasn't sure he could do it. Not the crown, not the future, not the expectations, just life inside the machine. Those words were never meant to be public. Not because they were inappropriate, but because they were honest. And honesty is the one thing royal institutions fear most when it cannot be controlled. Kate didn't respond immediately. People close to her say she reached for his hand first. Not dramatically, not emotionally, just a grounding touch. The kind that says, "You're not alone in this." Then she spoke. And what she said reshaped the moment. Kate reminded William that strength doesn't mean silence. That leadership doesn't require emotional distance. That their marriage was never meant to be a performance, even if the world insists on watching it like one. She told him something equally unapproved. That she needs him present, not perfect. Human, not heroic. It was a moment of mutual exposure. No titles, no hierarchy, just two people acknowledging what the palace rarely allows them to say. This is hard. The next morning, nothing looked different. Appearances continued. Smiles returned. Headlines stayed polite. But inside the palace, something shifted. Aides noticed subtle changes. William more protective of boundaries. Kate more selective with appearances. A quiet rebalancing that wasn't announced, but felt. The palace never commented, because there was nothing to comment on. There was no argument, no breakdown, no crisis. Just a private moment of truth that didn't fit the approved narrative of effortless stability. And that is precisely why it matters. For years, the public has projected perfection onto William and Kate. A flawless partnership immune to strain. But the truth is more compelling. Their strength comes not from avoiding difficult conversations, but from having them when no one is watching. William's private words weren't a confession of weakness. They were a recognition of humanity. And Kate's response wasn't reassurance. It was partnership. She didn't promise to make it easier. She promised not to disappear inside it. That is the kind of marriage the palace doesn't know how to explain. Because institutions thrive on consistency. Love thrives on honesty. The unapproved nature of that moment is exactly what makes it powerful. It wasn't shaped for public comfort. It wasn't filtered through tradition. It wasn't designed to reassure anyone else. It was designed to keep them intact. As William steps closer to the role he has been preparing for since birth, these moments matter more than speeches or ceremonies. They determine not how he will rule, but how he will live. And Kate, often described as composed to the point of invisibility, continues to prove that quiet strength is not passive. It is intentional. She doesn't need to be loud to be essential. She doesn't need to lead from the front to hold everything together. The palace may never approve of private words like these becoming known. But the truth is, they already shape everything that follows. Because the monarchy's future doesn't depend on perfection. It depends on whether the people inside it are allowed to remain human. And in that unapproved moment, William and Kate chose each other over the image. That choice is why they endure. Only 1 in 10 viewers here is subscribed. If you love stories that reveal the human side of royalty, join the community.